Hey, hey, ha, ha. You just want to play hand games, eh? Shandit are talgala. Good evening, Salatina Adlarot. Say hi, say what's up. Doing Zinek, it is Thursday evening. See Willis Janvier Hushe, Ninte Las Tours in La Loche, Saskatchewan, way up north, eh? Treaty 8 territories, and Clearwater River Dene Nation band member Islio. Says in treaty number, just kidding, doing a card right, yeah. But yeah, Dune's in a Treaty 4 territory way down south, yes. I home in the Cree, Métis, Sioux, Assiniboine, Dakotas. Dakotas, all beautiful people. Dune's in is supposed to go Tyrell the Cheatney, I don't know, but I know Nide Bahalya Tini um wool weaving another. Navajo Dene people. And bits in honey. Dut ahadu. Probably in about 20 minutes, I think he's. I hope I can do it. I hope. Hey, hey, Amelia. Merry Christmas. Hello. Hey, Bonnie. Bonnie, you want to join me for a little bit? I'm trying to. I don't know if Instagram. He's gonna go live on Instagram. I don't know how you watch live feeds on Instagram, man. For somebody who that is always on a computer or staring at a screen, you know, it's I'm sometimes illiterate. Technology baza. It's a little weird. SG Nata, how come? What are you doing? Nothing else, yeah. Doesn't another. Nari Then you are oh. Let the not the other ones in again. Don't have it. Babit early and doing Selene it's eats Selene's it's ultra. The other day no how hosni and it's a the rest. Yeah. Hopefully she learned a lesson. So I only want the presents, honey. In bed in Saskatoon, no man. Oh, okay. PJs. Well, no. For all you guys know, I could be naked under this hoodie and below. Nobody sees. Doesn't matter. You know, it's like my bed's right there. And when school starts, say, you get up, and I just go over here, put on a shirt. Usually, because I stay up too late. The telethon us by man, it just gets worse and worse every time. Hey, FNB Bops. Not sure who FNB Bops is, but what's up? FFS. FFS. So yeah, just do they changed what do you call it? This new Omicron. I just want to swear. I gotta create a my own little live stream where I can say whatever I want. You know, but it's a bit frustrating for sure. This Omicron is too. Hey, hi. Hello, Tanya. You know, one I had one class. Light class is gonna be in Regina, so I think twice a week. And now Restinia. But then Zinnik, they sent out a new email and said 22nd. It'll be remote till the 22nd. Then they'll look at it again. I don't know this COVID. Kind of lately, eh? Say ye. Next, it's Megatron. Yeah. Hey, let's have this conversation. COVID basa. Both doing it. Yeah, 2 shots. I'm not going anymore. But lately, here, I'm not saying it's because of that. Michael Hart from Thompson. Hello, Thompson. Thompson is the Fort McMurray of Manitoba. Um, yeah, not saying because Neddia Ayato, but lately, maybe I'm just out of shape. I'm going to the gym, but say ye, like I'm just like, man, I don't know if anyone has that problem. Cause it's inita nahu laza, the doctor I go to till New Year's end, so I can't get any blood work done, nothing, and paranoid. That's the end about anything. A cough, a cold. Can you call my mom? But I knew a commercial. Can you call my mom? But no, it's not stress. Although I am stressed out, but it's not that. Like I understand my body pretty well, and do not click anything. Looks like there's a little scammer there. Free test kits. You came to CC. Hey, yeah, what's up? Kenyon McGilvery. I went to Whitefish, the school. So some of the kids, you tell a kid, I go live on YouTube. I might be changing over to just YouTube and getting rid of Facebook. But see how that's gonna go. But you know, I'm a YouTuber. People love that title. Kids love that title. And then they're like, "Oh, what's your YouTube channel?" So they asked me, and so what's up, CC? What was it? CC Wam? No, CC Waham School. I think Facebook is fun. You can do it on um, YouTube as well. But the idea is to monetize it. I'm not going to get, the idea is to bring those views to YouTube and hopefully. But the thing is, you got to have, people got to have a YouTube account to subscribe. You don't need 1 million followers to make money on YouTube. You don't. Or even Facebook. I think before I started, they needed 10,000, but because all of you awesome Dene people keep coming back, that qualified me to be able to sign up for stars, fan subscriptions. I tried that, but nobody wants to pay $6. So I got to go try to maybe just YouTube. So it's a bit of a business thing. Try it out. Who knows? This is 1 year. Lots. Leonard Tisani. Hap, hap, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. FNB Bops. Who is FNB Bops? FNB Bops 97. So yeah, I've been thinking about that. A bananes there. Just a thought. We'll see. It's always ever evolving when it comes to social media. I don't even know, YouTubing. totally busy, but because I thought about, this is the thing. Or both, whatever. But this is the thing I've always thought, I always come up with these ideas. I want to do this, I want to do that. And I always encourage people to come up. I know it's, some people are nervous, they get scared, they don't shy to get in front of a camera and be on the internet. Yeah, that's scary. But over time it gets better. So I always encourage more Dene content, even if you speak English. Dene dint kole. Just do it. Show us what you do. Show us how your nation does it, your Dene nation. Show us what they're doing in your Dene nation. Just like the other day I commented and about when I posted, I'm trying to learn syllabics, and some lady commented and said, if you want to be tradish, draw pictures, something like that. And I'm like, okay, how about you create your own platform and then you teach us what you're talking about? I think what I've learned is we don't always help. Instead, we tell people you should do this. So that's why I always encourage. Hey, the more you have, the more resources somebody who's in school can use. Someone has used my videos in their papers. They had to message me and ask, that is cool. But so imagine there's Clearwater, Turner Lake, or what is it? Birch Narrows, Buffalo River, Patronac, 4 Dene nations. You can have your own channel. Set it all up. Make it easy. Make it accessible. 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 I don't know. I can't see that name. Oh, yeah. It comes from YouTube. That's why. They're on YouTube. I don't know who it is. You don't see the YouTube comments? Yeah, so I don't know. Hopefully this guy, he said he's going to go live and share Navajo stories. I'm looking forward to it. I want to learn more about our Navajo relatives, cuz they're on this page too. Some of them interact. And it's pretty cool. I remember one of my early videos a year ago, I said, hey, it would be cool to have someone from Navajo Nation be a guest. And it happened. I've had a few. And now we get to learn off each other, Just think of that. It's just, you don't look past it. You just look at it and say, it's pretty deadly. Just like TikTok. I guess you could do live TikToks. I tried going live on TikTok. I just don't have that crowd, wherever your platform, my platform is Facebook. That's why it's a bit of a... Sharon Yazzie wishing you a very Merry Christmas, Willis and family, and Willis and my kids. I got no woman. I gave up Tinder. Couldn't find anyone in Lac Brochet. Nothing in Thompson. Where else did I stop? PA, Saskatoon. Regina Musha, HG Touring Edodi. Might have to head north. Kimberly Kelly. Oh, man. One of the famous Dene TikTokers. Edlanet Merry Christmas. Navajo. Yeah. I might have to then come to Black Lake. Black Lake. Sa Black Lake na hiyan. Sa Coisley. I went there once. The only thing I remember, I don't know if it was, but no, a couple of things I remember. And Lac Brochet had this, the Chen'a, their fences were the Chen'ao of Black Lake. I remember that. And then there was this, I think it was a red store. It was a red store, I think. Head to Churchill next. Oh man. Maybe you never know. You know, I'm trying to get into this is what I don't like. I know I get to speak, you know, I get asked to speak. But how do I promote that? You know? I talk about drugs and alcohol, importance of language and culture, you know, a Dene, how I've used that to better myself and then bring it to people. You know, that's so I've been trying to gather something to put not a presentation, but a poster. You know, hey, this is Dene Yati. So that's a new avenue to try. Who knows? You know, first Black Lake. Happy holidays, Jamie. Never know. Churchill, Dennis Lila. But I speak English and Dene. Deneju. Oh, it's 7 more minutes left. I don't know how long this guy's gonna go live for. Hey man, the rich man. Shendene. Man, no, but last Shen in general and it's in links and osle. Christmas ain't like Christmas anymore. The guitar and shoe. I'll send you a link. Na phone kayan lade. No, but last Shen in jende. Be pretty cool. But that's how much jazz, man. Yeah, he's got no time, for guitar. And I don't have my gear here. You see? Too much money, this guy. Tampala Betsy. Target's acre the hell. Oh man. Maybe Christmas Day. Oh, Christmas Day will be eating turkey. I'm gonna go live on Christmas Day. Come on. Come on. Just kidding. I've been thinking, what do you guys think of being done at morning show, morning episode? You know, one thing it is Ashna that they don't understand what I do so be cool if you could call someone in the morning, say, hey, what's up? Wish I could meet. Maybe, eh? But I think a morning show would be all right. Talk to you later there, rich boy. Clayton Durant, the rich boy. I think a morning gig would be a morning episode. But I gotta stop TikToking till 3 in the morning. Oh man. TikTok and in Darena 15-second video na sina. Next thing you know, it's 4 a.m. Every night, man. Honestly. You can't even do it. It's so addicting, and I'm an addict too, man. Like last year, once my brain is stimulated, that's it. I'm a little messed up. Yeah, love that. See you live broadcast in the morning. Oh yeah, yeah. It might be something. Yeah, I gotta see us. It's in class schedule. Check it out. What my schedule is like for the summer. Hey, Bonnie, are you done school? School and all that, no? TikTok and YouTube. I don't really YouTube. I right here I got another laptop. I wish I had another screen. If you go on Christmas shopping day, um, I need a new monitor. So, Best Buy gift cards. Best Buy gift. I always YouTube. I always play music. I just anything before it gets me going, kind of thing. Um, but how many more semesters? 5, 2.5 years already. We'll see. Once I get the degree day, the hell with this year. I'm gonna. Who knows? People ask me, "What are you gonna do when you get your degree?" I don't know. I become a podcaster. I enjoy it, but I'm also a social worker. Once you start school for social work, you're considered a social worker. I didn't know that. It's kind of interesting, which makes sense. I don't work there anymore, but I work in a detox center as an addiction worker. You know, that's what I always thought. Anybody who's listening. I was 30 years old. Yep, when I quit my job, um, and started university. Usually people tell you when you're growing up, they go to school right after high school. See, I wanted nothing to do with school. I'll be honest. Says in transcript, man, it's pitiful. There's no way I would have to do 3 more years to upgrade. So I got in as a mature student, 30 years old, 50s all across the board. Now my average is like 71, something like that. Better than high school, anyways. Sometimes I cheat. Keep at it. I'm looking for work now. We'll get back to making videos with the new information I've learned in the master's program. Oh yeah, you're doing them Dene masters, eh? Hey, call me on the phone. I'll give you my number. I'll send you a DM. Hey, Bonnie Rogers. You don't have to go on here, but you can call me. Hey. Tell me about your masters. Let's find you a job here if you call me. You never know who's watching. Right now, there's 18 people. One of them could be a principal, or, who knows? One of them can be. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock. Okay. How do I go live? How do I see the live streams on? Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Edlan and Bonnie.
So good.
Nezu. How come you have a no caller ID?
Oh, shoot, I forgot to take that off.
Shit. People like that are weird.
Thanks. I am weird.
What are you doing?
Chilling because I'm done school and I just finished my assignments a couple of days ago, so I'm just relaxing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this master's? You're a master now.
Not really a master, but I took Masters of Indigenous Languages at Blue Cross University or through St. Paul, Alberta.
And you're
And,
online?
yeah, they had it when I first started. It was in person and online, but now because of COVID, it was all strictly online.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was good for me because I was working and I was able to do both, work and go to school. Yeah.
Did you enjoy online?
I did. I went there a couple of times. We had because it's like kind of like the First Nations University. It's like they're trying to decolonize education, so they don't teach like the Western way, I guess. So I did go to the college there before COVID, and we had to submit our research project in ceremony and go to sweat and get prayers for what we were studying.
In Blue Quills?
So, yeah.
What did you do your research on?
Oh my God, that was the first year. I did so many different things. One I did for mothers, a project on introducing moms to the Dene language, the ones that are pregnant, so they could already start introducing the language to their babies while they're in the belly.
Mm-hmm.
So and just researching information to support why that would be important. So stuff like that. That was one project that I remember off my head. This last recent one, when I just finished, was about doing online lessons, like for YouTube, along with material like handouts that go with those, and then the option of having like a Zoom if somebody is taking those lessons, you can meet with the instructor on Zoom to like answer any questions and to go over pronunciations so you could interact.
So you're trying to design that?
Well, I did it for a project. I don't know if I'm going to design it. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do right now that I'm done school, but I know I'll be doing something in regards to Dene, whether it's restarting YouTube, like doing it all over again with because I was learning how different age groups learn and different learning methods, and I also got some new software for like videos. So I was thinking of making it more fun with like animations and digital stuff like that.
What is your YouTube channel?
I don't have a YouTube channel, but I did post YouTube videos on the Navajo Twins Friendship Center YouTube channel.
What is it called?
Navajo Twins Friendship Center. They're out of Regina, and because we had a very low attendance for Dene programming, like when I was doing in-person beginner Dene classes in Regina, there was only like my kids and then this other woman, actually from Wawash, actually, but she was adopted out south.
Mm-hmm.
She was a 60 scoop girl, and she came to my classes, which was cool. I think she's up north now. I just found it so interesting because she said she was raised down there and she wasn't raised with a Dene family, but she could say all the sounds. She could pronounce all the sounds. English, it was like she did have a Dene accent, but yet she didn't grow up there. So I don't know how that happened. It must be like genetic.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, so then we had to switch to online. So I asked my boss if I could just do the videos instead of teaching the classes to check it out, and he said go ahead. So I just started those videos.
Mm, that's cool. Good for you. Keep. Maybe you can make your own YouTube channel and then be that Dene YouTube blogger.
Yeah, I'll be doing something for sure now that I have some time. So I was just so busy, and then I moved this year to Saskatoon.
You're out chasing
And,
guys,
really,
maybe.
no, I don't taste.
I'm just bugging. But it looks like Tyrell is live now. We're gonna show what kind of stories he's got from the Navajo Nation. I appreciate your call here tonight at Bonnie, and always
Cool.
interacting with me. Actually, that's I appreciate anytime you get to do that.
Yeah, I really enjoy your podcast. It's a cool way for me to connect with the language, being in the city.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Next time, you'll have to join me live. You'll be my next guest, actually.
Okay, then.
Okay. Talk to you after.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay, Salotine, I'm gonna share. Let me know if let me know if you can see or hear, not hear. Here we go.
To join, can you guys log off? If you guys have questions, there's a in the icon, there's like a question mark icon. You can press that, and then
This is Tyrell.
you can ask your question, or you can comment.
I'll just mute it for a little bit. I'll mute him now. But he is from Shiprock, I believe. He was a guest recently. So in the Navajo tradition, in the winter, they share stories. There probably is like that in Dene too, but he's gonna share. Let me know if the sound is good or anything. Must see Cho for tuning in tonight.
Start of the Red Street clan. I am born for the Red Bottom clan. My maternal grandparents are the Towering House clan, and my paternal grandparents are the Tangle clan. So that's how I identify myself as Navajo. Okay, so I have a question here. What were you pulling the wool off of? Oh, okay. Yeah, totally. So I was just working with some wool. These are hand carders. In Navajo, we call them behanshad. So this is sort of what it looks like. They have teeth. So this is what straightens the wool. So this is what I was working on earlier. So yeah, so that's what I was doing. Now I'll be doing this at the same time. So hope you guys don't mind. Okay, we have another question here. To buy one of your items, how can I do that? So right now, unfortunately, I don't have anything for sale. Most of the things that I'm working on, they are orders. So your best bet of wanting something from me is you would have to order it, but there is a waiting list. I would say about a year of a wait. Behind me, I'm actually working on one now. I still have quite a ways to go further up. So, and after this, I have a couple of them. I started a Navajo rug dress, which is going to be for a Navajo wedding next year. So I'm hoping to finish that at least by as early as March or April, or maybe even before then. But yeah, so that's the only way you can get on there. Okay, so as some of you guys know, so the other day I was supposed to go live, but due to unforeseen circumstances, personal reasons in our family, I wasn't able to. But some of these stories, this is the only time that I get to share some of these. So I'm going to go ahead and share it with you. We have another question. Okay, what story are you going to tell today? Okay, so I was just getting to this. Thank you for asking. But the first story I want to talk about is the winter solstice, which we recently had not too long ago. Which was the other day. The second story is about who the Navajo Twins were, and so just sort of like give a general idea of who they were and what their role was is in Navajo society. Um, there was a third story. I'm trying to remember. I know I made a post about it, but if somebody remembers what the other story was, could you guys perhaps comment so I can remember? The other one is going to be about the first death. So this last story, the first death in Navajo, unfortunately, if you are pregnant or if your significant other is pregnant, this story you're not supposed to hear or anything like that, just out of respect for the unborn child. So this has to do with death. So if you are pregnant or expecting, don't listen to the last story here. Yeah. So and then if there's any other questions or suggestions, you guys can comment on there, and I'll try and read it and get to it as well. If I missed it, then you can probably comment it again or something like that. So this is sort of how I do my live sessions here. It's just ako ho kay godi dat enigi bahanegi a ben his kashnet dodonles ako ho day ya pada hajnet se la e ya a edo day ya saje a bahashnet the a the gi a o ben not tin adad enigi but do beneto e dat eniki e de ya benina isobe bahashnet o sergeant de ya. So these stories are only meant to be told mostly during the winter. However, there are times when I do share just a smaller version of it, just to give an understanding of the teachings behind it and why things are done a certain way. And so, yeah. Let me see. Did I miss anything else? But yeah. So welcome to my Instagram live session here with my Navajo storytelling. The last time I went live was about the Hogan, the Sweat Lodge, and other stuff like that. So I got some positive feedbacks from a lot of people who were appreciative of what I shared. Some of them they were writing down notes. Some of them they were screen recording and stuff like that. So yeah, so I'm willing to share as much as I can. However, if most of you guys have read one of my previous posts, is I never tell the full 100% of the story. I probably only tell 65 to 45% of the story. Beninaniki aa ya shiziniki aa ya shi it's for my own protection in that sense. So I never tell the full story. The only people who I really tell the full extent of the story are my siblings, my younger brothers. They're also only two people out of the whole world. They know pretty much just about everything that I talk and tell about. But so that's totally up to them on whether they do want to share or how much they want to share. So for me, I'm just trying my best to tell you guys to give a better understanding of certain things in Navajo, why things are done certain ways, so on and so forth. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and start with the storytelling. As I mentioned, the first story that I will be
Oh, he lost his sound. He lost the sound. I think you're on mute. Someone's commenting. I don't know if you guys can hear, but or see. There we
Can
go.
you guys hear me now?
Yes.
It's kind of windy outside tonight, so I'm not sure if that's the reason why. But let me know
How's
if
the
you guys can
sound?
hear me
Everybody
now.
listening? Are you guys enjoying this?
Let me see.
This is pretty cool.
Lasagna, I can't hear you. Yes. Okay. So back to the story. So the Navajo Twins, they are Nayet Nezgun and Twabajishin. Nayet Nezgun being the older twin. Nayet Twabajishin being the younger twin. So those two, they go together. And I just got lost again. Oh, so this story goes back to when the twins were actually going to go see the father, who was Johanna A. She is Astana Tlehe, or also known as Yoshkayastan. Excuse me. So as the twins made their journey, so this story, there's like so much more to tell about this story, about what leads up to the solstice. But the first time that when they were going, it happened was the summer solstice. So I'll sort of cover that real quick here. The summer solstice happened not long after the twins, at a young age, they left. I would probably say they were about 10, 11, or 12 years old, somewhere around that age. They left to go see their father, and when they were traveling, they came across this rocky land. As they kept going to the east, making their way, they saw smoke coming out from the ground. So once they smelled that smoke, they could smell food. It brought them a sense of home, comfort. It was a welcoming smell, a welcoming feeling that they went to. So they saw where the smoke was coming from, and they went down there and they saw a hole. And from that hole, the smoke was coming out. And they looked down there and they said, "Hey!" And then so in return, there was a response. It was an older lady's voice. And she said, "Yat oh." She said, "Yat eh." She said that to them, the voice that they heard. And she said, "Hey land em." And the older twin, he said, "Na yet ne zgan shedishne." And oh, she she welcomed them into her home, and they sort of chuckled because it was a small hole in the ground. So if you've seen a spider
Sounds like
dig
he
a
said
hole in the
sin
ground or
yezaza.
in a rock or somewhere, you know how small that hole was. And they said, "We can't fit in there. How are we going to fit in there?" And within a blink of an eye, that hole expanded enough for them to crawl in onto the ladder and crawl down into the ground. As they made their way, they noticed that there was feathers alongside the wall and the floor where they met. They noticed that there was feathers on top that was decorating. There were stones covering the walls from white shell, abalone, turquoise, obsidian, so on and so forth. And they noticed that there was rugs that his auntie yogurt that didn't follow. They were hanging down on the wall. And they were really beautiful. They never seen such beautiful work like that. There was probably something similar to this that was hanging on the wall. It draped down. So that story right there, it goes back to weaving. It's considered a weaving story as well. But that's a whole nother story again when it comes to the weaving and Spider Woman and the twins. So finally, they got down there to see their grandmother, who was Nashe, a stone Spider Woman. And she saw them and she immediately recognized them. And she said, "Hey, what are you guys doing? Why out here? Why aren't you back home?" And they told her, "We're going to our father's house." and they found out that their father was Johana being the sun barrier, the man who carried the sun across the sky. So she told them, she said, "Oh, okay. Well, sit down. You guys must be tired, Dan. You guys must have been traveling." They said, "Yeah, our feet are hurting, they're sore." So they sat down. And the thing that they did not know was that their father, Johana, who was the son, so Johana, he sees everything as he's traveling. So he saw his kids, the twins, going to Spider Woman's house. And at that instant, that split second, Spider Woman, she knew as soon as they said, "We're going to go see our father," she turned around, and where her doorway was, with her hands, she motioned back and forth, up and down, up and down. It created a wall, like a door. It sealed the entrance off, because at that moment, the sun, he stopped in the middle of the day. At the highest point in the sky, he stopped. When he stopped, he got off his horse and he grabbed 2 lightning bolts in the back of his armor shields and everything. He grabbed 2 of them. He shot it. Those 2, they went down straight to where Nashje Estambagan, Aquanne, and went into her home. But when it went into the entrance, that wall that she created with her web, it was so powerful that it ricocheted off. And Johana, he saw that. So he went, he grabbed for the sunlight. And same thing, 2 of them, he let it go. Same thing happened, it ricocheted off the wall. So right there, when he stopped, the moment he stopped, the day became longer. And that's how we ended up with the summer solstice. And that's why we have the longest day in the summer during the summer solstice. And she knew what he was capable of doing without them knowing. So the time that they were in there, she was protecting them. And she told them, "You can't leave for 4 days." So they agreed. And from there, she started feeding them. She started bathing them, giving them water. And during the whole time at night, she would tell them stories of who their father was. She would tell them songs. She would tell them prayers, sacred names for some of these treacherous obstacles that lay in front of them. However, that part, this is where some stories, you have to understand that there's Hojonja Bahanet, and then there's Hochonja Bahanet. Hojonja meaning the good side, the good version. This is the side that most people understand. On this side, Hochonja, that's another side that most people, they don't tell. It's mostly involved in ceremonies during the winter, during Hatad, these long 9-day ceremonies. That's when those sides of the stories are told. Hojonja is just something that we teach for others to understand, to have an idea of what's going on and what happened before. This is not just nothing about Bahane or Jinnah. This is something that actually happened at one point in time in our history as the Netanitliniги. So you have to put that into consideration right there again. So when we jump to this side, you have to realize that Naashje, she was jealous of the twins, Nayet Nezgan and Tobajashin. She was jealous of them because all their life they were protected by these powerful beings, and they still were to that day. She was jealous because they were untouchable, because she knew that they would grow up to be something that would shape our Navajo society. So at the same time, she was trying to confuse them. She was trying to lead them into danger in hopes that they would end their journey and come back, in hopes that they would not succeed into becoming Nayet Nezgan and Tupajishin. because at the time, those were not their actual names. What their name was before, nobody really knows. There's probably a few that know, but unfortunately, I don't know what their names were before, because Nayet Nazgun and Tukubajishin, Monster Slayer, and Born for Water, they did not get those names until after they defeated all the monsters that roamed in the world. So that part right there, there's some people they know, some people they know, but otherwise they know a different version of that part. So after those 4 days, she did her best to both help and to both stop them from continuing on their journey. So she gave them the sacred feathers, the sacred songs, the names, the plumes, to help them get to their father, in hopes that maybe he was able to destroy them. So from there they set on, and that's where the story of when the twins they journey to the father continues. So that's the summer solstice part. When it comes to the winter solstice happens when the twins finally made it to their father's house. That night, the first night that they made it there, that's when the winter solstice happened. So from the summer, all those couple of months, they made their journey slowly to the east until they reached the ocean, which was the east coast. They were able to go to their father within a split second. They were on the earth and they went into the heavens. When they got there, again, there was more obstacles as well. So from there, they continued on. And that's when they finally met their, I guess you could call her their stepmother. This lady, she has a name in Navajo, but unfortunately, I cannot share her name with you guys. But it has to do with the one who Johanna A, his real true love. And she was human. She was probably the first human even before Yosgleistan, because they already had kids. They were already married. So when she found out that the son had twins for someone else, she was both surprised, but not surprised at the same time, because that's just who he was. Joanna Balchint Hayut Bahanon. So from there, she knew that they were his kids. But at the same time, she was hurt because he promised he would stop. As all men, most men, they do that. So she knew years ago that he thought she stopped, but he did not, unfortunately. So in that sense, you could probably say Yosgleistan was just a side piece to Johanna A. And if you really understand that part, there's more to that story again as to what I mean and why I say it that way. I don't mean it in a mean way or in a funny way as well. That's just how the story goes. So after the son came back, and again, he saw both the twins come to his house, and he came back to his house and he said, "Where are they?" And that part right there again, there's more to this story again. But then after he found them later on, that first night that he, after finding them, he tricked them in a sense. He told John Ehona A, which is the moon barrier. He told them, he said, "Go take them outside, let them sleep in the water. If they are really my kids, they will survive the night." So Ehona A, he came back, which was the moon barrier, the person who carried the moon. He came back. He stopped at the highest point in the night sky, and he came back, and he led the twins to the ocean, and he told them, "Stay here tonight, sleep here in the ocean." So the twins, they took off their clothes and everything, their armor, their shields, their tobacco, their feathers. They left it all on the shore. They both went in naked into the water. And again, this is during the winter time. So they noticed that there was icebergs. The top of the water was frozen, but they were floating. But they had no idea that Sunberry sharpened it enough to where he thought it would pierce them, to where he thought it would cut them apart and kill them. So they both made their way into the water to spend the night. And that's when he went back up and he started going again. He started going to the west. And that's how the summer solstice became the longest night. So in the summer, we have the longest day. In the winter, we have the longest night. So that's how those two, they work together. And that night when they spent sleeping in the water, they heard someone coming. They heard them swimming towards them. And by then they were freezing, they were shivering, they were going cold. Their skin was turning blue and white. But they come to find out that it was Cha-Astan, which was Beaver Woman. She knew what the sun was already going to do, so with her, she brought 2 extra skins, beaver skins, and she told them, put this on, you'll stay warm tonight. So the twins, they wrapped it around themselves in the water, and from there, that's how they were able to survive the cold, frigid night. And when those ice came to them, it hit them, but it would just bounce off of them. So those icebergs and everything, it did not kill the twins, unfortunately, the way the sun barrier anticipated them to be killed by it. He thought the cold would kill them because he thought they weren't able to withstand it. So before the sun could start his day, he went down there to check on them. And before that, they removed the coat and they gave it back to a Beaver Woman. And she went back, she swam before the sun could see her. And the twins, they were laying there in the water. She told them, close your eyes and lay there. So when they closed their eyes, he saw them and he thought they were dead. As soon as he turned around, the twins, they sat up and they walked out from the water. And the sun, he turned around and he saw them that they were still alive. So by then he was a little agitated. He was annoyed that they did not die. So he said, okay, just go back to that house and stay there all day. I'll come back when I finish my job. So when it comes to the winter solstice, that's when we say in Navajo, the sun makes its way back to the north to his summer house. So within the next couple of months, people who wake up early before the sun, usually they go outside and they start seeing how the sun starts backtracking back to the north. During the summer, he makes his way to his winter house. So the sun starts going to the south. And then so each solstice, it turns, vice versa. They go back and forth. So that's where the whole summer and winter solstice comes in. And then that's when some medicine practitioners, some storytellers, they tell people, during this time, we're supposed to pray. It's the longest day because it's for your own protection. We don't know what comes ahead. Only that the Dene, they come together and they discuss what's going to happen next season, the following year, so on and so forth. We're not allowed to make any changes as to what the Dene put in place, what their plan was, because the Dene, they're not thinking just now, not next week, not next month, not even next year. They're thinking 10 years from now. They already have a plan set for us. So with the help of the sun and the moon, these plans, they're able to stay in place like that. When we have eclipse, it's the same thing. There's a difference between a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. That's where some people, they don't understand or they don't know. And usually people, they just tend to overlook a lot of things. They don't put things into consideration. This is just from my perspective. Everything that I talk and tell about, it's from how I know it, how I understand it. I do not speak for the rest of the Navajo Nation. That's what I always have to make clear. Unfortunately, is something that I have to do because, as I always say, there's different versions, there's different ways of telling certain things depending where you are, where you're coming from, so on and so forth. So that's just a little explanation of a story behind how we got summer and winter solstice. And I'm pretty sure other people have different stories as to how and why we have that here as well. So any questions, any comments, you can comment or ask the question icon, or you can go live if you want as well. I need a break first. Hold on. I need something to drink. I have my bucket of water here with me, so don't mind me. Thank you for another amazing teaching. You're welcome. I'll probably give another minute. Let me see. What else were they going to talk about? I kind of already explained who the twins were. Let me go a little bit more into depth about the Navajo Twins. So there's some people who think that Nayet Nazgun and Twabajishchin, they weren't twins, like born one after another. Some of them, they say they were born one hand length apart. Some of them say they were born a day apart. Some of them say they were born a year apart. And let's see. I heard when the twins left, they left from Canyon to Shea. Interesting how stories can be different. Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, it's true in how stories can be different because the way that I understood it was Yoskayasa, Nayet, Nazagun, and Twabajishin, they lived towards Jishol or Jisnawa Dishi. They lived by the fifth sacred mountain. Jishol, that's where Yoskayasa was born. And that's where after she had her kinada, they told her, which was right next to the fifth mountain, so that's where they grew up in that surrounding area. So that's just from what I've been told and how I understand it. As for Canyon de Shea, that's where a lot of these they ended up living there. That's where he had his own house. His summer house was there at Sayet, which is Canyon de Shea. But the Navajo Twins, they have different versions as to how and who they were in Navajo. But like I was saying, they did not get their name until after they defeated all these different monsters. That's when the older one, Nayet Nazgun, that's how he got his name, which is Monster Slayer. So he wouldn't have been able to get his name until he killed the monsters. And Twabajishin, born for water. This is where the story gets interesting. When not long after Yoskayasa had her kinada, she went to go prepare a meal. She went to go gather some woods. And as she was gathering wood, she felt someone watching her. She felt a presence there among her. But she had no idea who it was. So when she got her bundle of wood, back then they used to carry it on their back. they used to put a strap, and they used to put it on, and they used to carry it home. So that's what she did. But as soon as she was going to stand up, something held her down. Someone held her down. So she sat back down, and she went up again. Same thing, as something held her down, and she got down. The third time she tried to go really hard, she was annoyed because she did not know who it was. She thought somebody was pulling a joke on her. Again, something held her down. So by the fourth time, she pretended to get up. But as soon as she went up, she let go of the strap, and she stood up. And that person who was holding the bundle of wood was still standing there. So she turned around, and she saw who it was. And lo and behold, it was Johanae, the sun barrier. And she saw how handsome he looked standing there. And she was so astonished by how just perfect he seemed, and vice versa, because Johanae fell in love with Yosgleasta long before she even knew, or before she even saw him. He was already in love. So each day he would see her every day, and he began to fall more in love with her. As much as hard as he tried not to look at her or anything, he could not help himself. So he went down to earth one day, one afternoon, and when they saw each other, and she turned around, and he placed his right hand on her right shoulder, and he said, "From this day forward, from this day on, all Navajo women shall belong to me." So in that sense, people say Sun Barrier is a really jealous person. He's a jealous man because he thinks all Navajo women, they belong to him. And this story goes back to Navajo wedding, as to why things are done in the evening, as to why they wear blankets. So that's where this story originated from, the Navajo wedding. But that's maybe another night. If somebody wants to know, they'll ask about it. But from that time that he put his hands on her shoulder, he impregnated her. Back then, it was not to where we had to have sex or anything. It was something spiritual, something powerful. So just from him placing his hand on her shoulder, she became pregnant. And that was Nayet Nazgan, monster slayer. So he went back up. And the next day he saw her again. But she grew a little bit older. She matured more. On this time, the next day, she went to go get some water. With her, she took 2 water jugs to fill them up because she needed it back home. So there was a stream not nearby where she would go. But there was also a cave there. On that cave, there was a natural spring that would drip the water, and that's where the water came from. So what she used to do was she used to sit under that, where that water was dripping, and she used to take off her clothes. She used to lay them down there, and she would be sitting there. And what she used to do was she used to put her hand up where that water was dripping. So that water used to drip at the tip of her fingers. The more water kept dripping, the more it kept running down. So she would put her hand higher, and that water would run down her skin, down her arm, and over her breast, and down between her legs. And from there, she had that sense of a sexual arousement, that water that gave it to her. So back then, everything was alive. But again, Johanae, he saw what was going on, and he did not like it. So he jumped down there. He jumped into the water. He became the water. And when that water started running down her arm again, and finally he was able to go down between her legs into her vagina. And that's how he also impregnated her. And that's where Twabajishchin, born for water, the second twin, that's where he came in from. So, in that sense, in Navajo, we often tell the young girls or any female not to go swimming in a lake by themselves, not to go far into the lake or anything like that, because usually if you're at a swimming pool and you look underwater, you can see the reflection of the sun on the ground. That's who the Johana ate, that's who he became, that reflection in the water. So that's why a long time ago, women were kind of told not to swim too much in lakes or anything like that, or streams, or to go to the stream alone. And so that's where that teaching comes from. And again, even nowadays, we tell the young women, don't go anywhere alone. Go with someone. And a lot of this has a lot of sensitive topics that we could open up. But I know it's not something a lot of you would want to hear or would want to admit to it. Even as adults, some women, they still do that. Some men, they still do that. And that's where a lot of these teachings, they're lost, they're forgotten, they're not told. But it's like I said, it's something sensitive to bring up or even discuss, especially on social media. Everyone has their own opinion. Anyone can misinterpret what I'm saying or twist what I'm saying. So that's why a lot of people, they don't feel the need to talk on social media about these type of things, because not everyone is meant to hear it, because again, it's sensitive. For me right now, I'm kind of beating around the bush as to how I can make myself clear as to what I'm trying to say. Some of you may have an idea of what I'm trying to say or not. That's totally up to you. So that's how these two twins, the story originated from. The older one, he was more disciplined. He was more daring. He wanted to face a challenge, face on. He just wanted to go and fight. That's how his thinking was. But for the second twin, he was younger, but he was more mature. Mature meaning he thought everything through before he took action. He put things into consideration. He thought ahead. He thought something could happen. He thought how to avoid certain situations. So in that sense, he was sort of guiding his older brother where to go, what not to do, when to do it. And in one of the stories, it talks about when Nayet Nazgan, the older twin, went to go fight the giants. He went by himself, but the second twin, Tubajishin, he stayed behind and he used his crystal. He guided his older brother. He told him what to do because he knew he was not able to think ahead on his own. He was just living in the moment. His mentality was not fully thinking. He was not thinking right in the right state of mind. However, the older one, he was more manly. He was more masculine, which was Nayet Nazgan. The second younger one, Twabajishin, he had a more feminine side. He was softer. But he fought alongside his brother because he knew his brother needed him. regardless of how masculine, how strong he was, he would not have been able to defeat all these monsters without the help of his younger brother. And this story, it also goes back to when they went to Nashje, a star spider woman. While Nayetna's gun was over here learning how to fight, how to defend for himself. On the other hand, over here, Tobaja's Chin, he was learning how to prepare some of these meals, how to cook, how to nurture themselves, to regain strength, how to make medicine. That was more of his side. So as a gift, Nashje Astan gave him cooking stuff, bowls, plates, knives, forks. He gave it to them because she knew that they would need it on their journey to eat, to stop, to think, to recollect themselves, to rebuild their strength. And she saw that in him. And she told him, "You're stronger than you think. You're stronger than your older brother." So she started giving him seeds, different types of seeds that she knew would help them. One of the plants that she gave them is known as Haza'aleh, which is a Navajo herb that we collect during the summertime or the early spring around that time. She gave it to him and she said, "Ti conch iligi Haza'aleh walyeniki, ti e akwet ago be nikikato lwal. Choy just iho e akwet a nut an lens is hashin hot iho. Nikato lwal but don't need." She told him, "If you eat this herb, it will help your body. It will help your body regain its strength to where you'll be more strong. You'll have more strength than you did before." So down to that little tiny plant, Haza'aleh. I don't know if some of you have an idea of what I'm talking about. The Navajo Parsley. There was a time when teenagers, young adults, adolescents, it was something they used to consume all the time. They had it in their soup, they had it in the gravy, their meat, potatoes, so on and so forth. Any way that they could ingest that, that's how they were able to eat it. But that's just a little brief summary of who they were. And all of it leads down to when they both split. Yes, Nayet has gone into Kobajishin. They became mad at one another. So they split, they left finally. This was after their mom left Yoskayastan when she went to the west. They began blaming one another. So finally, at one point, they left. One of them went to the north, one of them went to the south. And if you know the story, you know that in each direction that they went, different tribes, they were created. That's where some controversies, conflicts happens. People will not admit to it. And again, this is something that a lot of people, they don't know or they do not discuss. So any questions, any comments? I usually just need. Okay, I'm thinking there's no one. I'm trying to remember the third story that I wanted to talk about. Can someone help me. Because I really want to save the first death sort of for the last one. I'm a twin and I can see me as a second twin, my sister as older twin. Oh, nice. Yeah, in Navajo, having twins is something that's very sacred and powerful. Um, I believe it resides on, some say the dad, some say the mom side. I forgot what side it was that I was told the twin genes it goes on. You have a higher chance on what side. I forgot. And even down to that, like the whole clan system and everything, that's a whole nother story again as to how and why these clans were created. Not only the first four original clans, but like these other clans that we hear of today. She's the stronger one to fight. I'm more the learner of things. Oh, cool. Nice. Any questions, any suggestions on what else I should talk about? Maybe for about another 30 minutes. That way it'll be for an hour and a half or something. It's strong on my mom's side. Awesome. Yeah, so some of these songs, when they sing about it, they go, and then so some of these songs, they sing about when they went to their mom, how their mom instructed them what to do, where to go to kill some of these monsters. And even down to that, people have different versions on them. Some of them, they talk about these monsters being in a different parallel universe, being in a different dimension. Some say it was here on Earth. And so, yeah, so a lot of them have different versions, different understanding, different teaching as to how they were told, and so on and so forth. Excuse me. I'm trying to remember if I said I was going to talk about another story. What was the sun's plans? The sun did not have any plans. The sun was created before Yorkestan. Yorkestan was the one who created the humans, and she created the clans. So herself, the sun barrier, they did not have clans. Clans did not exist before her time. I'd like to hear more about the Navajo weddings. +1 Navajo weddings. I'm not married, so I can't tell you that story. No, I'm just kidding. So what I was talking about earlier, the son being a jealous man and saying all women belong to him. This is one reason why they have it. They're supposed to have it in the evening as the sun's going down. But nowadays, people say 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m. But the reason for that was so that Johanna A would not see this lady being married off. Otherwise, he would cause them sickness and harm in a way to where it would affect them. And so when they put the blanket on her as she's walking in, usually they'll get like a blanket, like a large blanket, and they'll cover her. And she'll walk in with her whole entire upper body being covered. This also has to do with when there was a time when Navajo women and Navajo men, they had arranged marriages. So for one, it was Johanna A, so he would not see, so she would hide from him so that he would not see her. And after that, the second reason was the Navajo man, the groom, he would not know who he was marrying until she walked in and removed the blankets, and vice versa. She would not know who he was until she removed her blanket. So that's how these arranged marriages were done. So when the wedding starts is usually when the sun's about to go down and the sun sets. And the Navajo wedding usually takes place at night. It was something kind of fast, but nowadays people then extend it to something that's 5 hours long. And the woman's side, the bride's side, they sit on the south side. The groom's family sits on the north side. And again, down to which side they're sitting on, it has its own purpose and its own traditional teachings. But normally when Navajo weddings, when they happen, it's the groom's family who comes in first after the groom brings his saddle in with his uncle or his dad or whoever, and then his mom and his grandma and his sisters, everyone, they show up and they position themselves on the north side of the hogan. And that's finally when the groom or when the bride comes in with her dad or her brother or her uncle, whoever, they sit down there, her family follows in. So they conduct the ceremony. Every Navajo wedding is done differently. And so after the mush is shared and everything, their hands are washed. That's when the bride's family, they're supposed to get up and leave. They're supposed to exit out the hogan. But only herself, the bride, she was supposed to stay behind, and she's supposed to stay in the hogan with his family for the time being. So within that time, the bride's family, they bring in all this food, everything that they've been cooking. That's how they usually used to establish a sense of where they stood in society. If they were well known for something, they would bring that in, they would showcase it through food. They would make a lot of bread, maybe like they would butcher 20 sheep or something, or maybe a cow or a horse. So they used to bring in food and to show the other family, like, we have this much, we care for both of them this much. The food that they bring in, they were meant to leave it there for her to feed, to distribute out to her family, to her in-laws. And that after they're done, the bride's family, they exit back out, and that was it. They can eat separate outside somewhere else. But nowadays, a lot of people are more accustomed to eating outside together, dining together. I'm not married. I've never been married. This is just for show. I'm not married, so someone can easily use that against me. That's the first thing people look for, is to use your words against you. If I were to talk about kids or raising kids, someone can easily say, you don't have kids. You don't know what it's like. You don't know what it feels like, so on and so forth. But so that's just a little information about how and why Navajo weddings are done in the evening time, and how the sun plays in that. And as for changing woman and sun barrier, they were not married. They never been married. They were just a side piece to one another. And Johanna A, he was already married to this other lady who was at home, his first wife, basically. And after that, he probably had like 40 other wives elsewhere in the entire world. So let me go through the comment here real quick. Find me a Navajo woman. Thanks for sharing the Dene Yati podcast. Appreciate your knowledge. You're welcome. Yat from Canada. So after the marriage, the newlyweds would ride in the night or to their new homestead. Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so when the bride's family finds out that they're having a wedding,
Ho. Well, it looks like that ended. Not sure what happened. Maybe Instagram it goes too long. But what do you guys think? That's pretty interesting stuff from our Navajo relatives down south. Weddings in the evenings. I know I got a friend. She's from down there, and she kind of tells me about it. You know, it's this Hogan. I don't know. It'd be cool to witness it one day, to be able to go there and maybe see. You know, and we're just different day. Nowadays, you can just go on an app, find a woman. And then when you get married, you got about 15 people standing alongside you. That's how they do it in the north. It's interesting. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, okay? I found it really interesting, you know, that people, that's the first thing they will do is use your words against you. And I agree. You know, see, I'm in the public eye, really. Not big, but I am. I'm I'm a recovering cocaine junkie who's gotta, you know, every day. I'm sure there's people that want to throw that at me. I talk about mental health. If I blow up, they're gonna throw that back at me. You know, it's I've got kids. I can talk about that. That's why it's good to, you know, only talk about your experience instead of you know, using that way of telling a story. So bring it back to you. I did this. I did this. It's not to talk about to make yourself all about you. It's not selfish, but it's to show people, hey, that you can acknowledge what you have done. And hopefully that connection comes together and they're able to do it. That's what I was taught. Instead of you know, it kind of becomes blaming. You know, it's just kind of a part of healing and working towards, you know. So that was pretty cool, you know, and it's true. I wonder if we got any stories about twins. I don't know. It's pretty interesting. But I am going to finish her off there. It's been an hour and 35 minutes. Masicho to Tyrell de Cheatney. Yeah, I've never heard any stories like that. You know. But I did hear stories when I was in Lac Brochet. I can't tell them because I don't, you know the exact. I'd like to get someone from Lac Brochet, which I will, coming up and share these stories, you know. And the battle against the Crees, you know. Dene people na dates around this. You know, I always say be proud of Dennis Uslinanele. Even if you do not understand what I'm saying here, John, Dene Yati, Dene be proud. Be proud, Dene. You know. Dene due hutela or disanja daril tia. You know, and I've been able to gather that. Hola no hat do it udil. And here we are. It's 10 o'clock, 10:10 at night. Joining together online. You know, just like Catherine said the other day. Doon sa kuno gini yare astani ek esnig olyala. That's why we gotta do the work. Make sure they know who they are, you know. Just like Celia, you know, Ardenes, Ardene. We call it Ardenne now. Let me go to Ardenne because they cause alianza, so that's where she goes to get her clothes now. No more Walmart 14 to 16 or whatever that is. Neither. So we go to Ardenne. That's where she shops for clothes. Kula, she doesn't like bringing me along, because the answer Jonas, don't embarrass me, Henya. Don't embarrass me. Just don't talk to anybody. Oh my gosh. I bought I don't know if you can see this, but they're purple. Connecting their earrings, but banai Lakbro Shelzi. Northern store Alan there's a kwe. So this is one of her Christmas presents. Said Lia. I hope she wasn't watching. I don't think she was. But from Ardenne to Lac Brochet, hopefully she wears it on her ears. I wonder, I should try to put these. But said Zaire, I got big holes. But anyways, I'm going to go watch some TikTok and be up till 3 in the morning. No, I'm just kidding. Gabi, I'm going to tune in. Yate Shedene Naho Lini. Did I get that right, Toby? Yate, I know Yate Shedene Nahodlini. Nahodlini. And then a feather. Toby. Toby, I'm gonna message you. Maybe you can join me on Dene Yati here in the new year. Share. You know, I like one of the comments he made, you know, trying to, I think, pretty sure it was you. Translating Hebrew into Navajo. You know, and your response to someone was for the challenge. You know, and I think why teach this when this is what we should be teaching? You know, just like Terrell there said, people are going to use your own words at you. You know, pick up a few Dene when I was up there in Treaty 10. Yeah. Yeah, that's where, well, I'm Treaty 8. Treaty 10 is just right there. Yeah. Maybe you got kids up there. Where do you live? Maybe one of Bonnie's relatives here. Side piece, he says. Is a side piece. Edza, yeah, Edza. Not today though. Dunes in Ed Dooney. It was only like a -1. We went skating today, and but starting Saturday -21. It's gonna get cold winter. But I'm glad it snowed. It snowed yesterday, and so we're gonna get a white Christmas. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just a lonely guy. I'll be on Christmas. I was thinking of making moose meat, or you know, go to Eshje. That's cold. Hey, what is something you guys say in Navajo, kind of like Eshje? Like we say Eshje. What is something you guys say? You know, along that jargon, I guess, or just like slang. What is something you guys say in the Navajo? Dene Hey. Hey. Yeah, I like that. We kind of, I don't know, the Crees maybe say that. Dinu or Dinu. Oh, yeah. Say. Yeah. Say. Yeah. Oh, is another Christian Bergen. Ya Dilla. Ya Dilla. Ya Adila. Ya Adila. Did I say it right? Man, oh man. I gotta get some more Navajo relatives on here. Teach me the Dene language. I like how you guys say it. Dene. What's Ya Dilla? Ya Dilla. Ya Adila. What is it? What am I saying? Oh yeah, you got that woman, eh? Was it Onion Lake? You live? Yeah, means oh great. Oh great spirit, whose voice I hear in the wind, whose breath gives all life. Hear me, I am small, I am weak. Oh great. Yeah, Dilla means oh great. Nezu Eshje. What else? Or good grief. Oh, good grief. Ya Dilla. Ya Dilla. Ya Dilla. Huh. Usually, when you meet someone, they ask you, what's the dirtiest word? you know? How do you say the dirtiest word? you know, um I one time I said, I'll say this again because I'm going to explain this, and it depends how you say it. Okay, or it depends when you say it, maybe. But my mom, I said, "Tseyaza, tsebeyaza," I said on here, and then right away my mom texted me and said, "Hey, don't say that." And it means son of a, you know, clean, clean. And when you look at the origins or what they mean, Klintse Kli Beyaza. Klintse Beyaza. You guys get it? Benrino? Iberistina, yeah, like we're talking about Lyonju, Lac Rochezen. So Klintse Beyaza, I don't want to be swearing, but Klintse Beyaza. How you say moose in Dene? Dene. Dil. Okay, I'm gonna do. I've got these cards. I've got these cards. Do a moose call now. Oh. I've got these. I've been trying to finish this off for like 10 minutes. You guys got me going now. Hey, how about all the moose that have been coming down to the Navajo Nation area? Hey, and Navajo is not really good at moose calls. Yeah, because you don't get any moose, eh? But this summer they were, or this winter there's a couple there. You know, I brought them back. Okay, so you guys gotta stop here. It's trying to find the right card so I can translate it in Dene. I got these cards, from Lac Brochet, and they got these little sayings on it. Thank you goes a long way. Speak for yourself, Dabayan LT. Oh, that's the one. That's the one I'm going to use for today, right now, and we're going to learn it. Speak for yourself, not like a speak for yourself. It's like speak for yourself. Deba YNLT. Deba YNLT. Deba. Deba YNLT. Orsium. Am I right? Speak for yourself. Dene Yati Nezum Salah. Keep it up, Mary Kashmish. Hey, Masi Cho Toby. Well, keep in touch there. Maybe you can teach us some of your Navajo ways on Dene Yati. Don't be long, everyone. Toby long, don't be. So that is the phrase of the day, I guess. Phrase. These are phrases, yeah. Speak for yourself. Dabayernilti. Dabayernilti. Dabayanelti. Same thing. Dabayernilti. Depends on the situation, I guess. Dabayernilti. That's probably the speak for yourself. Dabayernilti. Dabayanelti. Probably, just context, I guess. Hey, Master Bonnie. So that it is for today. I don't know if anybody's gonna watch till the end, but speak for yourself. Dabayernilti. Dabayanelti is the way to say it. If you're just trying to learn, I've been kind of thinking, but it's a lot of work that I don't know if I want to embark on. If I did a morning show, just pick something, and these cards help. If I had more, hey, we'll learn this. You know what I mean? So that's an idea. My brain is always constantly going. Daba yanati. You probably daba. You guys make that. It's like a sudden stop or daba yanati. Daba yanati. There's a couple ways to say it. There's so many different ways to say something in our languages, It's kind of crazy. Must be a Virgo. How you know I'm a Virgo? My birthday is in September. Christmas is in 2 days. If you guys want to get me a Best Buy gift card, I will not say no. Or 1 day actually. And yeah. Dabayanilti. Said you're always thinking, yeah, constantly, man. It's just like anytime I get like think of something, I will stop, and then it's just like I gotta orchestrate the whole thing in my head. Can't do that's how I come up with my ideas. Okay, is this gonna work? I kind of gotta look at things at all angles, and then oh man, I'm never gonna get off here, but it's all good. Like this is the for that video game, it's like, okay, you kind of gotta like improvise something and quick, you know. It's something you can't really teach, I don't think. It's just gotta come, but it's weird. I get sidetracked easy too, and I was listening to Terrell there. Because, hey, I'll say this for all students probably. I'm not always listening to the instructor. Then I'll get thinking about something else, and then I'll go to the other laptop. Boom, 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 boom. That's just how I am. Or a cell phone. I am really bad with a cell phone. That's why I don't have a girlfriend. I am just I gotta be on it. I don't know. That might be my New Year's resolution. Less time on the cell phone. Cause she just like, oh, you're addicted. I am addicted. Don't deny it. Constantly. What is just why? Am I escaping, or am I trying to find new content, new ways to do things, new guests? What can I find? What kind of information? You know, it all goes together. And it's crazy once you start thinking about it, you know, and like this is the work that goes into trying to put something together. And then you gotta have a notepad. You gotta balance. Does this work? Does this work? Does this content work for my show or podcast episode? Whatever it is, you know, does this work? Can I, you know, here's one I'll share with you guys. This is how, when I'm talking to somebody, I am, and then I went to talk about, like I was talking to this guy. He's like, I knew I was going to see you. I wanted to talk to you about this, but he was trying to mess with me. And I was like, okay, okay. Hey, finally I said, okay, bring me this. I want to see what you're talking about. And then I'll decide, because this is mine. I've created all this, you know, and then you got to be like, and then I got to talk to people. It's like, hey, this is this. Is this going to work? Is this going to be controversial? Because then you got to be um, you know, considerate of some people and geography, where they live. Sometimes I'm just like, whatever, but let's go with it. Just do it in a good way. You know, it's very my brain. And then once I get on a cell phone, that's it. It's very dangerous too. I gotta stop. I know it too, but it's tough. It's tough because I just want it. Okay, what's the next thing I'm gonna do? What am I gonna bring? You know, always working on this. So, but, you know, so it becomes a job, really, a job that pays in good emails, you know? So it's a lot of work, but it's cool. People enjoy it. And I'm going to keep driving myself crazy until I say that's enough. Just like tonight, I've been trying to say good night for 20 minutes. Tyrell was done 20 minutes ago. Here we are again. So, the phrase of the day is speak for yourself. Daba YNLT. Daba YNLT. Anybody who's listening. So I want to say good night to everyone. Tomorrow night I'll be live again. I'm gonna do a Christmas Eve, maybe Christmas call in. You I'm going to try to get my other phone back from my daughter so I can use that number, my daughter's phone number, or inbox me some numbers so I can call people. I'm going to have to pull out the BNLT. Yeah, the BNLT. Yeah, it's the same thing. My little black book there and call some people. So it was a lot of fun. And last year, all I had was, a an iPad and a cell phone. That's how I did this. Now I've got, this fancy mic, this machine that gives all the sound, a laptop, I've got streaming service. So it's going to be good. So tune in tomorrow night. Not even sure what time. I'm just going to go 8 o'clock. Probably 8. 8 sounds like a good time. What do you guys think? But anyways, good night. Masicho salutine. It's been a good evening. Thank you, Tyrell DeCheatney, for sharing your Navajo culture, knowledge, stories. Good night, all my southern relatives and the Navajo Nation. Appreciate you guys. It's always good, to come together. I got Dene people from everywhere coming on here, and I appreciate all of you. Good night. Teo tesu dun telega. Gabin Christmas Eve ho. Join me. Dance and Funadal yo. Wish greetings, all that Christmas Tadayati stuff. So good night. Masicho. Si Willis Janvier Hushe. In Telas Tours in La Loche, Saskatchewan. Clearwater River Dene Nation band member Islio and Dunziniga join you Treaty 4 Territorials, home of the Cree Métis Sioux, Assiniboine Dakotas. All beautiful people. Good night, Salodina. Take care.